40 years ago, East Texas was the epicenter of an event that would change medical safety forever. A then state-of-the-art radiation machine malfunctioned at a Tyler Cancer Center, killing 2 patients. That same machine injured 4 more people at cancer centers all across the country. And it could have caused even more damage had it not been for the determination of one Tyler medical professional. Tonight, KLTV 7's Travis Noriega takes a look back.
In 1982, the East Texas Cancer Center in Tyler was on the cutting edge of cancer treatment. It was the first facility in the U.S. to use the Therac 25, the first ever fully computer-operated radiation therapy machine. For 4 years, it treated patients without incident. Then on March 21st, 1986, a patient received a radiation dose hundreds of times greater than prescribed.
He described it as someone pouring hot coffee on his back.
That patient died several months later. The Therac's manufacturer came to inspect the machine and said it was operating without issue.
I asked him, is there any way that this machine could produce a high dose of radiation and us not knowing it? And his answer was no.
On April 11th, less than a month after the first incident, it happened again. That patient died a few weeks later on May 1st. After the second event, the cancer center's medical physicist, Fritz Hager, began his own investigation.
But the computer program didn't completely change everything. They gave it a high dose of radiation. I told my administrator, Dick Higginbotham, said, we've just killed somebody.
The error was related to how fast the operator used the computer interface. The Therac's manufacturer insisted the software was fundamentally safe. Hager wasn't satisfied. I
was very determined that everyone got the best information they could get.
Hager called every facility in the country with the Therac 25. Sites in Georgia, Philadelphia, and Washington State tested his claims and called back within hours, saying they could reproduce the same error.
We did the second exposure. The monitor just went off like a flashbulb. Particles are traveling faster than the speed of sound in that medium, and they released this blue light.
The East Texas Cancer Center stopped using the machine immediately. The FDA recalled all Therac 25 machines nationwide. The case became one of the most studied software safety disasters in history. Travis Noriega, KLTV 7 News.
Mr. Hager spent 13 years at the East Texas Cancer Center and says the manufacturer had a $10 million insurance policy, most of which was given to the victims' families.